Yeah. Welcome to the Osprey Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Arts Bar Podcast. We have got a guest with us today.
Hi.
This is our friend Danelia. Please introduce yourself. Tell us all about what you do, where you're from.
Okay, I'm Danelia. I'm 23. I'm from Mexico. I am currently, I've been living here for like 5 years now. I went to LIPA and I studied songwriting and performance, and I am now just a professional singer, artist.
Nice.
Professional singer and artist. I love that.
Hell yeah.
And the reason you're with us today is because you won our battle competition last year.
It's the first winner.
We had a lot of fun, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, the entire time.
And you did very well. I think it was such a good thing for us to do. It's the first time we've done it. It was nice, one, because the competition was just good to do anyway, and two, because there was a real nice networking element to it. I feel like all the artists started to like really support each other.
Yeah.
And ultimately that's what it's about. I know that there was a competition and a prize, but it was nice to see you all just kind of support each other.
Yeah.
And just be like inclusive. Like I think
Yeah.
too often we segregate ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see.
I think it was nice as well to like bring, because I was a bit scared when I was applying for it that it would be mostly LIPA musicians,
Yeah.
but it was nice to bring a little bit of like the local scene, not just LIPA, because obviously after 4 years of being in LIPA, you mostly just kind of stay in that circle. But it was nice to see a little bit or get to meet new artists that weren't part
Yeah.
of that circle.
I think it was a nice variety of
Yeah.
acts each night as well. I think people had different styles, and it was
Yeah.
quite nice to see that
Yeah.
as well. And nice to see 3 female artists in the final
I
as well,
know.
which is class to
Hell
see
yeah.
that. Girl power.
yeah.
Speaking of LIPA,
Yeah.
obviously you moved over here to study at LIPA.
Yeah.
Like, I'm interested. I don't think we've ever had this conversation about why you chose LIPA in Liverpool.
Right.
Why you kind of went, I want to go and study, and what drove you to do that? Like, where does that all start for you?
Right. So, I mean, I've always known that I wanted to do music, and I think it was just like written in the stars, because I've never ever thought of being anything else, and I can't remember me wanting to do anything else. And the one thing I do know is like I didn't want to study it per se, because like in my head I'm like, you don't really study music. It's more of like you can have like vocal lessons or like piano lessons, but you don't study it as like a career. But my parents have always pushed me to like, if you want to do something, you have to do it properly. So that means, you know, you have to go to uni and you have to study like business side of it, the theory side of it, just study everything and be extra prepared, because essentially it is going to be your career and your life. So when I was looking into places I could go to study university, obviously one of my first options was America. But at the time, Trump happened.
We've just been speaking about Trump, haven't we?
We were just talking about him, yeah.
What did you want to say?
She's come in his colours.
Fuck Trump. Oh no, stop it. No, this is red for the Mexican red of the flag.
Yeah, I love it.
So it was just the same way that they have a hatred for us. A part of me was like, well, fuck America. Like, I don't want to go there.
Right,
anyways.
okay.
I love America, but, you know.
That's interesting, though, to see, like, such a political move has swayed you from going, I'm not going to study there.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of, because I'd been there the year before I started applying for university, and I got quite a few of, like, racist remarks in California, of all places.
Really?
It's quite
Crazy.
liberal. It's quite liberal, so I was just a bit like, I don't really want to be going through that constantly while I'm trying to enjoy my life, especially when I'm moving away from home. The last thing I want to do is feel uncomfortable or feel at a place where I just want to go back.
Yeah.
I looked into the USA, but besides that, it was also very expensive.
Yeah.
Tuition is insanely expensive
Yeah.
in America. And when I started looking into like my favorite artists, like Adele was one of them back in the day, I saw that she went to the Brit school, which I thought was a uni, but then when I looked into it, I saw it was a high school.
Yeah.
And then from there, I saw that Mark Featherstone Whitty, who's the founder of LIPA, is also like the founder of the Brit.
Right, okay.
So that led me straight to LIPA, and then I just went, well, Paul McCartney's involved, so hell yeah.
Had you been to England before that?
Never.
Never?
Never.
So your first time was Liverpool,
Yeah.
and you, like...
No, my first time was London, so I came in the summer before I moved, I went to London, and I immediately was like, yes, I'm so glad I'm coming here.
Like audition process there, is it just a tape?
I went through two different auditions. So the first one was sending 3 different videos of me singing either covers or my own songs. But at the time, I didn't really write songs. So I sent in covers and obviously the written application form.
Yeah.
And then after that, they would say, like, you move on to the next
Yeah.
or what, like face or whatever, which I obviously did. And and then I had to go to a live audition in California, in LA.
Wow.
Yeah, and I did like a theory test, and I knew nothing because everything I knew about music was in Spanish, so I didn't even know what the chords were in English, which I completely failed. I literally just wrote on the back like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know anything," and I drew like little flowers and stuff. Which one of my professors told me later, like, I actually got like a weird form from someone, and it said at the back that they didn't know anything, and a little flower. I was like, that was me. But yeah, so we did.
I've
like
never
a theory
thought
test.
about like that,
Yeah.
like chord-wise, just that you learn it in Spanish.
Yeah, because we obviously learn do, re, mi, fa, sol. We don't do
Yeah,
A,
yeah.
B, C, D, all of that.
Yeah, yeah,
so I had no idea at all like what I was doing. I tried to do as much as I could from what I knew from piano lessons and the basic music theory that they taught me back home. But other than that, I didn't know anything. And then they made us perform 2 original songs live, and that was it, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then, how long before you were then in Liverpool?
So that must have been, my audition was probably March 2019, and then,
September 2020.
no, September 2019.
Sorry,
I
yes. Yeah, yeah.
moved here, yeah.
Yeah.
What were your first impressions when you first ended?
Crazy that. That's like you had like 6 months and then you're into
Yeah.
everything's
well,
closed.
Especially because I'd never even been to England overall. I went to London, I think it was like August
Yeah.
of 2019.
And it's really different.
But
London
is so different
Yeah.
to Liverpool. So obviously I went to London. I was like, I love it. I'm going to live like the dream of like... yeah, it was very different. Obviously the first impression, the Scouse accent, it took me like 3 years to really,
Yeah.
to
I can
really
imagine.
understand. But culture-wise, it didn't feel like a huge shock. What struck me the most was how unique everyone is and how open about their like personalities and about who they are and how proud they are about being themselves. Just you walk around town and you see people with like 3 different hair colors and people who wear certain like things that you would like I would never have seen in Mexico, and no one gives a shit.
Individuality and
Yeah.
Right.
It was wonderful.
Even for me, it's different because I'm 2 hours away. Really, I grew up 2 hours away, and even coming here, then there is a different energy about it.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I think there's a lot to say about students, big student city, and then just the historic thing. A lot of tourists. It's a port city. I think there's such a good mix of people
Yeah.
that everyone is kind of like accepting
Yeah.
of everyone's
Yeah, exactly.
quirks.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. So going back to being in Mexico,
Yeah.
that whole process is from being an Adele fan. There's no sort of like marketing materials that you've seen of Lipper or
No, I'd never
that is
even heard of
amazing
it.
that
Yeah, it was literally just a coincidence.
so you've gone down a rabbit hole of
Yeah, yeah.
Adele, where did Adele
Yeah.
study? This guy, he's linked to
Yeah.
that.
I
Did you apply
didn't-
anywhere else in Europe, UK?
No, that was my only option, and my parents wanted to kill me because they were like, if you don't get in, because I think they have like a 3% acceptance rate for international
Yeah,
students.
yeah.
So my parents were like, if you don't get in, what are you going to do with your life? And I was just so stubborn. I was like, of course I'm going to get in.
Yeah,
Class?
I didn't get in.
Did you not?
No,
I
didn't get in.
auditioned for the acting
Really?
course as well. Did you do the acting course?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't
I
get in.
didn't know.
Do you know what? I know a lot of very talented people who also applied and just didn't get in.
I think at the time I was upset, but then I went to John Moores and did drama.
Right.
And actually, it was a little bit more outward facing at the time, and you used to have to do a lot of external like gigs and shows
Yeah.
as part of your degree.
Yeah.
And for me, as my personality wouldn't have been good doing the auditions and
Right.
doing that route. It wouldn't have been good. So I'm
Right.
actually, everything happens.
It works out.
Yeah, it works out, and I'm glad that I did what I did.
Yeah.
And it's nice, and actually we noticed a real gap in university students talking to each other and working together, so
Yeah.
that's why this place exists really,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was about bringing people together because ultimately, once you finish your 3, 4, 5 years, you're all going to be just in the same business anyway.
Yeah.
So
There's so many more. I think there's so many more institutions than when we were studying as well. So like all we were interested in was linking our course to LIPA,
Right.
and that was it. Really, was like we don't really talk to LIPA, but now Hope have got really good facilities in sort of what they're doing. The uni are in the music courses and things like that. LMA, what they do, even the colleges in the city. Like there's so many different institutions where they should just all meet, share ideas.
Yeah.
You never know. Like just because someone isn't in the same uni as you doesn't mean that you might not have the same sort of same influences and want to make similar music and stuff like that or similar theatre. And I think that's so important that to get out of that bubble. You said yourself, like when you did the battle, it was like, oh, I don't want it to just be LIPA students, because you might meet someone that goes like, oh, I like what they were doing there, and bounce ideas around with them.
Yeah, exactly. Like to be fair as well, I think I was quite lucky that I decided to get a job in my second year. My second year, right after COVID, and just starting to work in hospitality meant, really bursting out of the LIPA bubble, because most of my time I just spent in LIPA with my LIPA friends. Yeah. But then as I started working in hospitality, I started meeting new people that were also in the music scene, but they had nothing to do with LIPA. And
or artists. And
and you know what? It was amazing, because I could also, by the end of it, when I graduated LIPA, I could see that some of my friends had really remained sort of like LIPA based. Yeah. And I'd been able to really explore Liverpool without just concentrating on the music side of it, but still getting a lot of, because Liverpool is has such a vibrant like art scene, music scene, design, like everything. So I think if I just stayed in LIPA with not gone to hospitality, my world would have been tinier, and I think graduating would have been a lot more difficult, because I have a few friends who still kind of feel the need to go back and like I miss it, and I don't really.
I think that's a really important thing to do, is to go and going and getting a job, no matter even if you're not studying a creative subject, going and getting a job means that you go meet other people, and whether they have shared interests or anything like that. But I think it also gets you away from that. Like if you're just at LIPA, just going to LIPA bar. Some people even work in LIPA bar, don't they? So like it's constantly in the same thing, same people, same faces,
and the same conversations as well. Like my day was 24/7 music talk,
and the people you live with,
a bit tiring.
The people you live with can also be on your course.
Well, that's the thing. I made it a point of moving to a place that didn't have any LIPA students.
Good, yeah.
So I started with my first flat. I lived with 9 other people, and it was a bit of a chaos.
Wow.
But it was great. It was 5 girls, 5 boys, and some of them were John Moore, some of them were uni of, and then me and another guy were from LIPA. But it was great because I got to meet people that were studying French and politics and economic and psychology and just sort of different things. So it was nice.
I totally agree with that. When I studied, I lived with guys that they did. One was doing finance, one did marketing, and then the others did biomedical science and sciences and stuff like that. So I'd come back and they'd be like testing stuff on cancer cells and how you could treat cancer, and I'd be like, oh yeah, well,
you've been dancing.
I'd been. I sang "You Got to Pick a Pocket or Two" all day. But I always come back and it was sort of like, when you can be. I think you can be in uni and then it's the most important thing in the world to you. And then if you go home and it's the same people that you're bouncing that around with, you just build it up and build it up and build it up. But if you get home and then it's people that aren't doing the same thing, then you just burst and you go like, oh, actually, it's not the end of the world, or it's not that important. Yeah. Right. Okay.
What always surprised me, I lived with like a mix of people, and actually, I always wanted to get up and go in and work because it was uni, but it was actually just me developing myself. Whereas some people that were on less creative courses would just skip class. There wasn't the same energy, and then those people seem to be the ones that have moved home again and haven't stayed and kind of capitalized on what they learned here and like embrace the culture of what this place is. Look, it's not perfect. It's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. But I think if the creative courses seem to have a little bit more retention in people that stay in the city. And it's just simply because I think you get yourself out there a bit more. What's it like in Mexico in terms of creative industries and scenes and?
You know what,
Are you from like a big city?
I'm from Puebla. It's like a 2-hour drive from Mexico City, so it's quite close. It's still a big city. It's a lot bigger than Liverpool.
Yep.
But I never experienced an artistic side of it. Like there's museums and stuff, but it's completely like there's not here every night. You can find bars and pubs and venues, and they always have events, and there's always music or something going on. Whereas I feel like back home, maybe I didn't pay attention, but I don't think that was the case. I think maybe just specific places, like if it's a jazz bar, they'll have jazz Sundays and Wednesdays or something, but it's very specific to that venue.
Right.
So I didn't really grow up with a lot of push on the art side, and I think that was one of the things that I struggled with the most, because I came here, and especially British students, if they've decided to be a part of like creative art or something from very young age, I think they will push it here, and they have many opportunities to do that, whereas back home there's not really a lot of an opportunity. And even when I would tell people that I was going to do music, people would kind of be like,
you say your family from a creative background, like?
Not really. So my dad was a communication sociology teacher,
right? And
my mom studied communication as well, but she ultimately, I think she started as like a radio person, and then she got married, she got pregnant, and that was it for her. But she's got a gorgeous voice, so my mom can really sing, and my dad's mom could play the piano. So there are like bits of music within our family, but no one ever took that route.
Right. But growing up, you play the piano in the house and things like that? Or,
Well, I have an older sister, and I obviously, because I have an older sister, and then my brother's in the middle, and then there's me. I always idolized my older sister when I was a kid, and she could play everything. She played the drums, she played guitar, she played the piano, she could sing. And when she started learning the piano, the teacher would come home and like they teach her in the piano and stuff. And I just kind of wanted to like impress her, so I started like playing it by ear, what my sister would be playing. And then one day the teacher just kind of heard me playing, and she was like, "Oh, you're a bit of a natural if you want to like go ahead and start piano lessons." And I think I was about like 9 or 10 when I started playing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Nice. What were you apart from Adele? What other influences did you have when you were growing up at that age, maybe a bit younger?
Well, I think it's quite interesting because I moved to Austin, Texas when I was 5, and me and my family were only there for a year. But I think that's when my memories really start, and obviously the music that we were listening to was in English, and it was pop. And at the time, I think it was a lot of like Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears, and just a lot of like the pop icons that we don't, made a huge difference.
Did you speak English from very young, or did you learn it when you moved to?
I learned it when I moved. I don't remember learning it, but I learned it. So that's why I sound very American.
About 5, like learning English.
Around 5.
So you understood the music. It wasn't like it was just completely alien what they were singing. You knew the language. Yeah.
And my mom has always been like a modern mom. She loves listening to what we listen to.
Right.
So if I liked Taylor Swift, for example, she'd put on Taylor Swift and she'd learn it with me and she'd sing it with me. And my dad's more a bit like, oh, well, I like Frank Sinatra and stuff like that, and I'm going to stay.
Cool.
So I think most of my influences come from moving to America, and then I just had a chip in me, because even at the time as well was when High School Musical first came out.
Right.
And I was a huge fan, obviously. So yeah, there's a lot of those memories are mostly like pop in English.
Yeah.
And I did listen to like pop in Spanish a lot, but I wouldn't say I was influenced by it, I don't think.
You wouldn't watch like the Spanish dubbed version of High School Musical?
Oh, no.
It'd just be the English version.
No, I loved it in English, yeah.
I mean,
I'd love to watch that though.
The irony is the Spanish kind of music's really taken off the last couple of years.
Yeah, well,
so
reggaeton,
it's got huge.
It's like party.
Yeah.
I definitely listen to a lot of reggaeton.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's got massive, and it's good to see because, like, I think as English speakers, we're so used to it just being everything's in English.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see that stuff making the charts that's in Spanish, that's in loads of different languages.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And it makes people go, oh, there's music outside of America and Britain, and
we're so like bad for doing that, like we're the best at it, and we invented it, and it's
colonizers.
Our thing. Yeah. This is the Mexican fiery side that I thought might not come out on the podcast.
Oh, it's always gonna come out.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
That's getting clipped.
Yeah, it's been. I've seen the side quite a few times. I get shouted at quite a lot. It's all good fun, though, isn't it?
It's always in good
all
fun.
Good fun. When did we all first meet? Then what were we doing? Wasn't the battle? Was it? It was before that.
No, way before that.
What? I can't remember.
I don't
I
either.
want to say Meg Shaw. And
Awesome.
a gig, maybe a local and live type thing, or
No, because local and live, I think we did
Was that later?
not too long ago. And she's in my band.
Yeah.
Shout out to Meg Shaw.
Shout out Meg Shaw.
Yeah, but no, she'd already been in my band for like at least a year and a half,
Right.
maybe 2. So it wasn't that.
The one that was filmed here.
Maybe I just came here to have a drink and.
Was it Tin Can maybe with Fionn?
Maybe actually, yeah. Because
Maybe.
you know how I'm always here to support Fionn.
Yeah.
And I'm always just
where is she
yelling.
in the world now?
She is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm so sorry because she moves around a lot now. Shropshire?
Oh, she's down there.
Think so.
This is a mutual
Right.
friend of
Near
ours
there?
who's also
Yeah.
a singer.
Best singer ever.
She's got a powerful voice, hasn't she?
Yeah, man.
Ballads.
But it says, man.
Anything.
Says, yeah.
Yeah.
So when she covered Naomi for Tin Can, sometimes it was great playing
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah,
Really cool.
that was fun.
Really cool.
So, moving to Liverpool from Mexico, massive change. How did you adapt to that sort of being away from family, far away
Yeah.
from home? How easily did you settle in? Did it take you a while?
Yeah. No, I think I'm really good at adapting and I love change and I've always wanted to be independent and
Cool.
from a young age I just wanted to leave Mexico and like discover the world and live by myself, especially because my sister had done that as well.
Where did she go?
Well, when she was 16, she went to Switzerland to like a boarding school.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Yeah. And then when she went to study her degree, she went to Arizona. Weird, but yeah. So yeah, I always wanted to leave Mexico, and I don't know. I really felt at home, and I felt really welcome here. And obviously, coming here and being able to do what I love and what I've always wanted to do, instead of going to math and going to physics and. It was nice to just actually do music.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say I really struggled with was the food.
Right.
The food. Oh, I still struggle with, like, I can't not miss Mexican food.
Yeah, the English food's shit anyway, isn't it?
It's not even that. It's just.
It is. You can be. It
It's
really
not
is
shit.
shit.
It's just. And I'm really sorry. It's not super special. Like, it's what it is,
Is there anywhere you'd recommend, hospitality-wise, that you... As
Mexican?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
No.
Just
Yeah.
not done properly. No.
Right.
There was apparently a really famous Mexican across the road there in the 90s, maybe early 2000s,
okay.
which we weren't here for that, but Victor, who lives next door, ran it, and people still talk about it. People still think it is a Mexican. They come and they're disappointed.
Do you remember what it was called?
Yeah, it's...
I don't.
you were on his van for a while, wasn't it? You could see it.
I don't.
No, I can't remember. But shout out to Victor.
Shout out to
Shout
Victor.
out.
I love Victor.
I don't know who Victor is, but shout out to
He
Victor.
lives in that little blue door there.
Hi, Victor.
Anywhere you'd recommend, just your favourite places to eat in the city?
You know what? There used to be this little... I don't really know. I think it's become more of like a pop-up now. But Taco or Don't, I don't know if you've heard, they're really good. They've
Joe
got
Wild that runs that?
Yeah, they did. They used to do like weekends here for a while, pop-up
okay.
stuff.
Yeah, it's all like
I only
pop-ups.
tried them once. I think they used to be at Jamaica Street,
Yeah.
92 degrees. And I only tried them once, but they were really good. The tacos, the tortilla was like corn, and it was blue corn, and just everything. I was like, finally.
What's the wrap that we get from Madre?
I've never been,
The wrap that we get from Madrid.
Yeah.
Oh, the burrito, the beef brisket one.
Yeah, that's nice.
Very nice.
That's nice.
Try that.
Try
I've
that.
never been to Madre, but yeah.
Try Madre.
I do like
and then come back
burritos.
on and tell us whether you thought it was
Okay,
good.
I will
Because I
do.
thought you were going to go, yeah, Madre's great.
I've never tried. I'm very like,
No, I can imagine that must be hard to go.
yeah.
You don't want the
I'm
disappointment.
stubborn. It took me a while to go to La Parrilla on Bull Street. But my friend insisted. She was like, I know you won't think it's Mexican, but at least it's good.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. It's
I
all right.
walked in and I was like, what is
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
this? Literally. There's like sombreros everywhere. That man who's outside,
Yep.
isn't he like Turkish or something.
I don't know. Is he not Mexican?
No, I went to talk to him and he didn't know a word of Spanish.
Oh my God.
I think he's Bulgarian or something.
That has absolutely ruined my walk down Bold Street.
Yeah.
I knew that, but she's just unearthing secrets of Bold Street. Yeah.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Seeing him dressed like that as well.
He used to play before La Paria. Do you remember?
Oh,
and he used to do the one that Dance the Night Away is now. Do you know the song who sings Dance the Night Away? Dance the night away.
Oh, J-Lo?
Yeah.
Is it? But then the original version of that song. Do you remember? He used to have an accordion and play that.
Yeah, he played the accordion.
Oh, yeah,
But the original song is like
a Spanish traditional song.
It is, yeah.
So he used to play that on the accordion, and then he started playing guitar and singing for La Paria.
What a sellout.
All right, yeah, you've just called him a sellout on here.
I really like him.
Volando se fue. Yeah.
He used to play that.
Quality.
Yeah.
New information to me.
Yeah.
But do you remember when he used to play the accordion down there?
I do not remember that at all.
A lot of not remembering on here today.
I know. I think I'm usually drunk when I walk down Bold Street, to be honest.
Tell me a little bit about a day in the life of your LIPA course. So what sort of stuff you would study?
Okay. Well, it obviously changed every year, but it was mostly just either like basic production stuff because I chose songwriting and performance, so I didn't get a lot of the heavy production, and it's good because I'm terrible at it anyways. Production, we would do songwriting. They would either teach us like new techniques to try and get our creativity out, or they'd give us assignments like this week you have to write about love or write a song for a James Bond movie. What else? We'd have our one-to-ones. You obviously choose your instrument. Mine was voice, and I'd have my one-to-one with my teacher. I'd have music theory, which I was still terrible at, even after I learned
English chords.
Even after I learned, I barely passed.
Do you do it by ear a lot, or?
That
always blows my mind. I'm not like a musical person in any way or form.
Yeah.
It's all Tom, but it always blows my mind where it's like people don't read music, so you don't read music, do you?
I can't read music.
But you could go, all right, okay, that's that, and I'll play it. Whereas like Ollie and Josh,
they can do a bit of both.
Yeah.
But there are some people, particularly classical musicians, that don't necessarily like. They need
know
music.
The sound. They need to read it in front of them.
Nothing's wrong.
I can't read for my life. No.
Nothing's wrong either, is it? But
no.
I think it's just the way people learn.
Yeah, I think. Well, Freddie Mercury couldn't read.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, I think. Well, he can. No, he probably can.
Possibly.
Probably Paul could.
Someone
John
like
couldn't.
That, they were like couldn't read, and I was like, amazing. I can't either.
Yeah.
I even when I was learning piano, I would learn it by ear or by the movements of the hands. It wasn't. I'd pretend to read because my teacher would yell at me like, "You need to read," but I just.
We'd learned it before.
Yeah, I just pretend. I'd be like. I was never good at that.
Yeah.
And I think because I didn't really like it as well. When you don't like something, you just don't pay attention either.
So in a day you'd be set assignments to sort of write, you'd be given sort of assignments to write new music.
Yeah.
You'd play.
Well, my first year, because I was very excited, I would spend almost all of my time at LIPA, and I'd constantly be at piano rooms, just writing and doing my own stuff. Obviously for classes as well, but I just loved it there because I could sing all the time, and no one would burst in and be like, "Shut up!"
It does sound very like freeing in terms of like that. It just sounds like a building where you can go and practice stuff and try things out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because everyone's there doing the same thing, so if you sound horrible or if you just make something great or whatever, no one's there to bother you or anything. Like you're not there to impress anyone either, because everyone in there is talented as well, which was great. But then obviously COVID hit, and I kind of lost like my motivation, and after a while it was just a little bit hard to kind of be at LIPA and like get excited for it again, especially because the first year of it we weren't allowed to touch anything. We were barely allowed to go inside, and we would have our singing classes over Zoom, and it was just
that's tough.
It wasn't the best. Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been really strange.
Yeah,
I think because ultimately you kind of here for the facilities, aren't you, as well as the experience.
Yeah.
So it must have been a difficult one. I think what's nice about institutions, they let you use it afterwards a lot, and that's pretty good, because you can. What we say to a lot of our staff, they're all pretty creative. Like, generally we hire on like that kind of basis.
Yeah.
And we say, even if you're not enjoying your course and you're not feeling like it's meaning anything, use the facilities.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the only thing you do, use it, because you're paying for it.
Exactly.
And it's top of the range.
Yeah.
And when you come out, I mean, look what we're doing now. We've got an iPhone, and like, this is not top of the range, but you've got that capability in there, so use it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I think it's sort of muddied waters a little bit there, where you're in and you use all the top equipment and you do a performance in the Paul McCartney Auditorium, and it's like a massive gig.
Yeah.
And then actually you leave, and then your next gig is in a bar or something like that. I think there is a little bit of like a reality check needed, maybe, and it's cool that you get to do that massive performance, but then just readying people for, you are not going to walk into Glastonbury next week. You are going to. We do get a lot. I feel like we get a lot here where people have come in for a gig, and it's like it's a very much a fringe setup, and it's like there's this. There's a couple of amps. There's a small kit, but because you've done that big Paul McCartney gig. You're like, oh no, I'm expecting big moving lights and fog, and it's like, oh, that's not going to happen.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, I'd prefer playing in venues that feel more like you were connected to the venue, the audience.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I get the big stage stuff, it's really good, but you always feel really disconnected.
Yeah.
I mean, first time with like in-ears and stuff for me was like, I don't even feel like I'm playing, I feel like I'm just
on a recorded track, and
I'm just kind of like going through the motions a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like such a show. It's.
I get why it exists. I understand it.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I've always gone, it feels a bit icky.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
You like the big shows with the lights and the fog.
You like costume changes.
Have you seen me?
How many costume changes did you have for your?
I had 3.
How long was the set?
I did.
45 minutes.
Well, it was 40, but I went a little bit overboard, and I did, because I was the last of the last, so I closed the entire Tube Extra.
Class.
So that is Tube Extra. It's on YouTube, so Danelia, Tube Extra. Go check out that performance, because you've got dancers.
It is great. I've got dancers. I had a string section. I had a choir. I had a brass section. And obviously my 7-piece band.
Who are all amazing.
Yes, they were all amazing.
That's a big show, that isn't it?
It is a big show, isn't it? It's like an Elvis.
It wasn't big enough for me. I was like, well, let's do what we can with what we've got.
Well, then I suppose that show supports your style of music as well.
Yeah.
Like you've seen with like the Taylor Swift boom, there's a real sing-along pop anthemic trend going on. Yeah. And actually, the more you put in it, the more exciting it is for people. Yeah. So that does make sense on that scale, doesn't it? You know, if you had 6 dancers here and whatever else, it'd feel out of place, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. I think you'd still rock it.
You know what? Yeah, just give me a microphone and I'll fucking kill it.
Well, it's nice to see. It is nice to be able to see that you do that show where there's dancers and there's costume changes and so many different sessions. Yeah. But then come and do a gig here and you're just on a stool and it's just you singing. Yeah. Nice, like accompanied by your band.
Well, it's just being versatile, I guess.
That's it.
Because you can't just be one thing, especially if you're an up and coming artist or you're just starting. You can't just expect. Like you said, you can't just expect to be at Glastonbury next year. Yeah. You know, you have to do pubs. You have to do a bit like
smaller
venues.
Where,
you have to do. If you have to busk on the street, you'll busk on the street. Like it's just. You
well,
just
it's
have
like
to adjust.
I was talking this morning to Ben about. We now live in a generation where anyone who breaks onto the scene now, we've had TikTok and Instagram and things like that for long enough that there's so much footage of them doing those busking gigs. Yeah. And it's just so much Chapel Roan footage now, isn't there, of like singing in Central Park where she's got a like guitar and she's singing and then it's like a year later she's
Governor's Ball. And
yeah. So like it's amazing to see that shift.
Yeah.
There was I was watching a video that said she was booked to do the small stage at a festival and she got moved to the main because she'd got that big that quick.
Wow.
That she'd been booked to the festival, and by the time she was playing the festival, it was like,
oh
no, we're going to have to, she's going to basically have to headline
That's
this. Because everyone who's coming to the festival is coming to watch her.
Yeah, of course.
Which is class.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah. I think it's like, it's good to see that's still, because you'd have had to watch a documentary.
Yeah.
If someone makes it 10 years later, you might have got a biopic documentary on it. whereas we can see it in real time.
You can
now.
see the growth. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I've not really listened to
Chapel Roan.
Have you not?
No.
HOTTOGO.
No, I've not really listened.
She's
done
got like
she's great.
done a
Yeah.
tiny
she's got
desk
5,
recently.
6, like 7 bangers actually.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Not just like she's got a few really
Yeah,
big
she
hits.
does. I think she's a really good storyteller as well.
Yeah.
She's really good at songwriting.
Yeah.
And she's got this amazing voice as well. So. Yeah.
And you Sabrina Carpenter's the same time of like that Taylor Swift movement of you seeing sort of like I feel like you're seeing a bit of a resurgence of pop.
Yeah,
again.
of like fun pop,
Yeah.
like bubblegum pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
We've had a bit of country,
Yeah.
and I think you're seeing a bit of pop come back now.
Yeah. It's great. It's great to see. I mean, we've talked a bit about the gap between stadium gigs and grassroots gigs. There is definitely a void still. We feel anyway.
Yeah.
You like mid-range venues, especially in Liverpool.
Yeah.
There's not really that mid-range venue. You kind of go from us and the Jack and the Quarry, kind of straight up to like District and Hangar 34, and there's just nothing slightly smaller in between.
I think maybe like Arts Club.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's still it can be kind of big anyways. Yeah. But then obviously you've got like Invisible Wind Factory, which is massive. Like
Yeah, there's definitely like the bigger stuff and there's definitely the smaller stuff,
Yeah.
and then there just seems to be that little gap in between, which I think needs to be addressed at some point, because if you go straight from here or the Jack to doing somewhere that's 750 cap, it's hard work.
It's
that.
hard.
It's hard to sell that, and it's
Yeah.
hard to like adapt your set to that venue.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
We had like a hip hop night last night with Philly D and friends. There's loads of different hip hop artists down at the Baltic, and it was nice to see on such a small stage. But you could kind of go, this could if it just
It's scalable.
definitely scalable.
Yeah.
And I think you just need that little middle range venue.
Yeah.
The Philharmonic Music Room is pretty good, but it's not for everyone.
I've seen it.
It's
I've
not
seen
like
the hall, obviously, but that's
You-
massive.
that's massive.
Yeah.
And in the back they've got a great live room, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't suit all types of music necessarily.
Right.
So it'd be
okay.
good for certain. It'd be great for your kind of stuff as well.
Right.
Like it really sit well. You might have to like strip it back and have it seated potentially, or something that's a little bit more in keeping with the
Yeah.
venue. But I don't know where like a pop artist would go from here before they're doing like the Invisible Wind
Yeah.
Factory.
Yeah.
So we'll have to like. I think that needs addressing
Yeah.
in Liverpool.
Because, I mean, there's Manchester, but you've got your people here. You've got your
Yep.
fan base here, I guess. And it's difficult to, come to Manchester with me. Like,
Yeah.
no one realistically is actually going to do that.
On a
so-
Wednesday or something, and you're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
impossible.
But even then, like just for the city, I think it's something that the city needs to address is that having that venue going from like 60 to 100 cap to then, like you said, jumping then to 500.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a bit mad.
It's
Yeah.
a crazy jump. So yeah, having somewhere that's like a 200 to see, like, well, it's 200 standing.
I guess maybe like the Cavern,
Yeah.
but that's more, I don't know, I think it's a bit difficult to book it in a way. Either you go through BBC Introducing or...
Yeah, Dave Monks does a good job of that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
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 We've seen some good gigs in that back room, yeah.
Yeah,
You're right. But
yeah.
but again, there's probably a step before that, isn't there? There's probably something needed before
somewhere
that.
between for sure.
Speaking of like plans, and it doesn't matter if you haven't got any,
Okay.
but obviously you won the battle last year. There was a prize money involved. Since then, what's been your experience with just the music industry in general?
Well, I think we can all agree that the music industry or like music career is not a very like stable career. And ever since I moved or I started gigging and releasing music, it's been very up and down.
Yeah.
And after I won the Arts Bar battle, it kind of felt like it was going up. And it was funny because that day I quit my job at the time. I stopped working in hospitality because I was going to music full time. And it's one of those things where you kind of go like...
The morning of, so before you won the battle.
I told them like 2 weeks before because I had to
Cool.
give my notice.
So
but
you'd
that was
manifested
the last
that.
day. And so that day, as I was like heading to sound check and everything, I was like, please, universe, if this is
Yeah,
meant
yeah,
for
yeah.
me, give me a sign. And then I won, and I was like, hell yeah.
Nice.
And I think the problem was as well because it was by the end of the year, and then I went home, and I didn't really have a lot of like plans or anything when I came back. I was working on my EP, my first EP, and I just stopped getting gigs, and yeah, I've been struggling this year actually especially with gigs. But I've released a bit this year. So I had my first EP and then I released a single, Magic, a stream.
Links in the bio.
Yeah. Yeah, and I played Sound City, which was really good.
Where did you play for that?
When?
Where?
Oh, the Arts Club, actually,
cool.
but at the top.
Yeah.
At the Loft.
Yep.
That was great because that was my first ever gig that none of them were like my friends. I had like one friend in the audience, and the rest were people just wanting to discover something. And it was one of the best gigs I've ever had.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I'm working on more music, and it's mostly just like songwriting and producing and recording. But it's at that moment where you just sat down, waiting, like, or maybe just organizing, making a structure, and there's not a lot of like income coming in. So
right.
Yeah, I've been unemployed for almost a year now, and it's starting to get tight.
I mean, if it helps, I think everybody's got a similar story to some extent.
Yeah.
I know we've kind of struggled with the gig culture's slightly shifted.
Yeah.
I think friends of ours that are in bands, again, it's sometimes they sell out, sometimes they sell one ticket.
Yeah.
I really do think there's something going on. It might be a financial thing, might just be we're a bit oversaturated with stuff at the minute, but it seems to always come back around again. Like we've been in this industry for about 7 years.
Yeah.
You see peaks and troughs, and again, but as a creative, you'll have them natural ones as well.
Yeah.
We definitely do. We were doing lots of shows at one point, then we got the bar, and you focus shift slightly.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to eat as well at the end of the day, so you've got to do whatever is making you the money sometimes, and then sometimes you can afford to do something a bit more creative, a bit riskier, maybe. That's fair. So I think that's a similar story across the board. I won't stress about it.
Yeah, and the thing as well is, obviously, I won the grand, but I didn't keep the grand because I didn't win it by myself. You know, I had to give the band with, you know, their due. So, yeah, we split it, obviously, between the band. And so by the end of it, the grand becomes £250 or something, which might pay for an EP or a recording or something. Yeah. So it helped. Obviously, it was good. Instead of having to touch my savings, I was able to just use that.
Right, okay.
But, you know, it's not the grand. But still, you know, it was fun experience as well. And
we had a big check and confetti.
Big comedy check. I remember doing that and saying, if we're doing this, I want a big comedy check.
Yeah.
And I think it turned up like the day of the final, and I was buzzing.
It turned up, rolled up, and we had
Did I leave it? I think I left it because I was like, it's too big. I'm not going to take it. Because I obviously got super drunk that night. And I was like, I'm not going to take it everywhere I go. Yeah. So I think I left it, and I never picked it up.
Did we all get drunk? I don't remember after that. Yeah.
Remember some Prosecco coming out and...
Yeah.
The fun after.
A bit.
I think I went home. You might have stayed out.
I think I stopped out for a bit, yeah.
I think you did. I don't remember a lot.
It's quite a lot of people, wasn't there? It was all a bit like, whoa.
Yeah.
I think everyone had got their families down. There were a load of staff there, a load of contestants that had been in it. Just a bit like...
That was quite nice to see in the final of the battle. Was people coming down to support each other.
And it was packed as well. I'd never seen the Baltic packed like that.
It was busy,
so
yeah.
It was good, yeah.
It was busy. Is there anyone at the minute that you're listening to?
Anyone? Do you know what? I'm just mostly on repeat with Ariana Grande's new album. I say new, but I think it came out like May. Just have it on repeat, to be honest.
Nice.
Yeah. I listen to my own songs quite a lot as well.
Good.
Nice.
Gotta do it.
Yeah.
Anyone local that you've been listening to that people can go and see in the city?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed Tonya. She's got an excellent voice, and she's got great songwriting as well. I've always enjoyed Tonya. Amy Dash as well.
We've got a new kind of element to the battle this year where there's mentors that sit in on every session.
Ooh.
So they get a section of the vote. They're like rank 1 to 4.
Right.
They get a section of vote. There's an online vote, and then there's a in-house balloted vote, so rather than the QR codes. Yeah. And Tonya was on the second night's panel for the mentors, so it was nice to see. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, she's doing well. She's doing. Her voice is amazing.
Yeah, she's doing
well.
really good. Yeah.
I thought she'd left Liverpool, but she was like, no, I've been here the whole time.
No, yeah. It just seems like she's, because she has been gigging, I think, like Manchester and Leeds and stuff. So, but it's good. It's nice to see that she's doing really good. Yeah.
Nice.
Is there anything else? Because it's been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you.
Where we're not just in a loud bar having a drink and it's all just a bit like, hi, bye.
Any gigs coming up?
I've got an acoustic set December 6th.
Right.
We've got Simon Dale and Jacob. I don't know his artist name, actually. Jacob Samuel? Jacob? Yeah. Jacob Samuel something. Yeah. December 6th. I'm not really sure where it is. I haven't gotten all the details yet, but
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, if there's anything you want, where can we find you? If people want to have a little listen.
I'm everywhere. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music. If you're a Deezer, if you're Tidal, everywhere. I'm on YouTube Music. I've got Instagram. I've got TikTok, but maybe don't go on TikTok.
Why?
It's just a lot of fuck Trump.
I just get bored and have random TikToks.
Everybody's going to go straight to TikTok.
Yeah, we're sharing them.
We'll put one in the link.
I'm going to private my account now. Yeah. I'm just everywhere.
What do people search?
Email as well.
I've got an email. I'm glad of that. What do people search for?
Just Danelia. It's Danelia, not Daniela, not Danielle, not anything else.
How often do you get that?
Oh my God, all the time.
Yeah.
What, Danielle?
Anything, everything except Danelia. Even Danelia.
Yeah. Is it quite a common name? Because you're the first person I've ever met.
I think people get it better here than they do back home.
Oh, really?
Because they just hear Danelia, so they go, Daniela. I'm like, that's not my name, but nice try.
Nice try, buddy.
I reckon Liverpool as well. There's
I thought it was your stage name at first. Like, what's your actual
Defo in
name?
Liverpool.
What, Danelia?
Yeah.
Danelia.
That Danelia's great, isn't she? Love watching that Danelia.
I get John, because I say my name and I'm humble. I get John. I go, they go, what's your name? They go, Tom. They go, nice to meet you, John.
Some people, honestly.
John Wilson.
John Wilson. It just sticks.
It's a nice name.
All the delivery
Like a
guys
movie
think I'm
star?
called
John Wilson.
Yeah, John Wilson.
Unreal.
Thank you very much. We
thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
And please check Danelia out. She's amazing. She's a good friend of ours and a worthy winner of the battle last year.
Hell yeah. I need another grant, so please go listen to my music.
Check if you join us in a year's time. It'd be interesting to see
Yeah.
where you're at.
What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll set it
That'd be cool.
Halloween next year.
Ooh, spooky.
We'll have
I
you
hope
on.
it's not scarier than
Yeah.
Thank you very much.